Welcome to the webinar of Liferay Hook. On behalf of Attune family, I welcome you all. Myself, Chandni Thakkar. I'm working as corporate Java trainer. In this particular webinar, we are going to see a Liferay Hook. Hook is basically used to change the properties of Liferay, like the things that are inbuilt that can be changed using a hook. For example, if you want to change terms and conditions page, then you can use a hook. If you want to hide the terms and conditions page, then you can use hook. And suppose if you want to change some words like create account to you want to make sign up, or you want to change the inbuilt words like you want to change create account to any other language, then also you can use a hook in Liferay. So hook is basically used to change all the inbuilt things. But here I would like to mention one thing, that hook cannot do using hook you cannot change the things that are related to validation in Liferay. For do validation purpose, you have to go with ext, but the things that are fixed that can be changed using a hook. So in this particular webinar, we are going to see three examples. First, we are going to see how to change the particular word. For example, we are going to change create account to sign up. Then we are going to see how to customize the pages of terms and conditions. You might be aware that whenever a new user does a sign up, then at the time he has to accept the terms and conditions. So if you wish, you can change the terms and conditions page for Liferay use. And for example, if you wish that the terms and conditions should not be visible to any new user, then that can be done with hook itself. So we are going to see all these three examples in today's webinar. Once again, for those who have just joined, myself, Chandni Thakkar, I welcome you all on this webinar on behalf of Attune family. Now, rather than just speaking about theory, I think we should start with practicals. So, here is my Liferay running, and I have set up Eclipse, and my Tomcat is already running, and my Liferay is running. So in this webinar, I am not going to show any configuration part of Liferay. So just to make sure that you know how to run Liferay in with use of Eclipse. I am using Eclipse. You can use any other ID, whatever you are using. I am using Eclipse, and my Tomcat is my Liferay is already started over here. So let's start with the first example. So first we are going to create a new Liferay plugin project for our examples. So here you have options for new Liferay plugin project. Project name I'm going to give webinar programs, and in plugin type you have to choose hook, because in this webinar we are going to use only hook. So select the plugin type hook, and webinar programs I am giving JSP, right, and finish. As first I am going to create example of changing the inbuilt word like create account to sign up. So I have given name JSP. So my Liferay plugin project is being created over here. You can see now my Liferay plugin project is ready. Once you open or you expand from Project Explorer, you will see there are some folders that are already created, right? So now my project is ready. So let's create a Liferay hook configuration. So from here you have an option for Liferay hook configuration. So just click on new Liferay hook configuration. Now I have to choose language properties. Now see, there are few language properties, and there are few language files inbuilt in Liferay. For example, there is a file for English language, there is a file for French, or there is a file for Arabic, and all that language. If you want to use, or you want to modify, or you want to make any changes in that, then in your hook configuration you have to choose language properties. right? I'm going to create a new hook configuration, and in hook configuration my project is by default selected, that I have just created. Yeah, one thing I forgotten to mention, that whenever you are creating a new Liferay plugin project of type hook, then hook is by default added. In the same way, whenever you are creating a new Liferay plugin project of portlet or anything else, then that will be appended with your name. So you can see over here that this is of type hook, right? So I have selected language properties, and I just click next. So here you will have a screen, and you will have list blank over here, so you can click on add. Now the files and file names that are fixed for Liferay. For example, you want a general file, then you can specify with language.properties. For example, if you want to modify in English language, then there is a file language_en.properties. If you want to change in Arabic, then there is a file language_ar.properties. So for right now I am going to change in English language. So language_en dot properties. Make sure that the spelling of your this file is exact. If the spelling is wrong, then your portlet is not going to work, your hook is not going to work as expected. So make sure that name of your file is proper. You can find out the files or file names inside the Tomcat folder inside your Liferay setup, and okay. So my file is listed over here, and I just, if you want to change, you can once again edit. If you want to remove, you can remove, and if you want to add any other file, you can add any other file. But for this particular example, I'm just going to work with English language only. So I have added it, and I'm just clicking on finish. So my file is added over here. You can see language_en.properties. Now I want to change a particular word. For example, create account, and I want to make it shine up. You might have seen that for a new, whenever you are you have not logged in, and you have option over here for create account. So you want to change this, then you can change this the same way. All the inbuilt Liferay words that can be changed. Now all the words that are predefined in Liferay, they have a particular syntax. Whatever word you want to change, you have to find out the syntax for it. For example, create account has a syntax create account. If you want to modify it, you have to write down that syntax is equals to sign up, and that's done, finish. So if you want to change this open ID, then you have to find out the particular syntax for open ID that you are going to write over here, and here you are going to write whatever you want to change to it, right? So in this way you can make a language properties file, and once you have done, you can deploy your hook. So go to Liferay SDK and deploy. Okay, so meanwhile it is being deployed, let's create another new Liferay plugin project. Now I'm going to give name webinar example, and now we are going to use terms and conditions. So terms and plugin type, I have to select hook and finish. In my previous project, what I have done, that was I have changed create account to sign up. Now I have I have created a new Liferay plugin project, and in that I am going to create a new Liferay hook configuration. And in this particular, I have to select custom JSP and just press next. Now see, there are a few pages that are inbuilt as a JSP page. So you can see from add from library. So here you will find out so many pages are already there inbuilt. So if you want to do any modification in any of these files, then in that case you have to select custom JSP. In previous we have selected languages because we wanted to change a particular word, or we wanted to change a particular label, or we can say we can change language also using that. And if you want to change the page, inbuilt page, then you have to select custom JSP, right? So from here you have selected a custom JSP, then next you are having currently blank in JSPs to override. So you can just click on add from library, and you have a list of libraries. So I'm going to select write terms of use. So you just write down term, or you just search with terms of use, and you will find out the exact file. Just select. So I am selecting terms of use.jsp, press ok and finish. Okay, so my terms and conditions are here. So you can see I have already done some changes. Welcome to our site. It may be something different in yours, and we maintain this site and so and so. Suppose instead of welcome to our site, I want to make it welcome to Attune webinar site. Enjoy learning, right? I want to make some change in my terms and conditions. So whatever changes you want to make, you can just do changes over here. If you want to remove this particular list item, that acceptance, if you want to remove this particular copyright, or if you want to remove any other field, then also you can remove. If you want to add any other thing inside this list, then also you can add any list. And the same way you can do a formatting for your added text. You want to make it strong, or you want to make it underline, or the same way you can do formatting. The same way you can add break lines. So whatever changes you want to do, you just do changes, and once you have done the changes, you just have to deploy your project. That's it. So it was the example of terms of use, how you can modify the terms of use. For this, both the examples and the last example also, I'm going to send you a PDF, and I'm going to send you the recording also, and that PDF and PPT will have all the steps, so you can follow that steps, and you will be given the recording of this webinar also. So your portlet is been deployed, and you can see over here. Now I'm creating a new Liferay plugin project, and I'm giving name webinar, and webinar programs, and with webinar programs I can again give terms, because we are again going to use terms and conditions. And plugin type, I have to select a hook. As of now, I have created 3 different Liferay plugin projects, because when I want to deploy one and I want to check, I can do that. That's why I have created 3 different plugin projects. You can create only one, and you can add your code in that also. So my new Liferay plugin project is ready. I'm going to create a new hook configuration. So just click on new hook configuration. once again for those who have just joined. Myself, Chandni Thakur, I welcome you all for the webinar of Liferay Hook on behalf of Etienne family. I welcome you all. We have already seen two examples of Liferay Hook. One to change the language properties, and one to make changes in terms and conditions. Now we are going to see example how to hide a terms and conditions page. So for that I have created a new hook configuration. Now I have to select portal properties. Some things are predefined in Liferay. For example, terms and conditions are compulsory for all the new users. Whenever a new user does a sign up, he has to accept the terms and conditions. So that all things are known as portal properties. So whenever you want to modify that properties, you have to select portal properties, and using that you can modify the inbuilt properties. So I have selected portal properties, and I will press a next. So here you will find out two options are there: define actions to be executed on portal events and specify properties to override. If you want to specify some events like a pre-event or a post-event for a login or a service render or that events, you can override. And right now I want to override a property so I have to click over here. So instead of writing the whole property, I will just select. So just click on select, and terms of use required. You have a property for terms of use required. As I already mentioned, in Liferay you have to accept the terms and conditions for a new user. So that things are compulsorily required for a new user, and when the case you want to modify it, so just select it, and we are going to change it using a hook. So I have selected terms of use dot required, press OK. Now here inside of value you can pass true or false or any value. So I am passing false. So what does it means is terms of use required is false. By default it is true, but using hook you can override the existing properties, or you can make changes in existing things. So I am again same using hook, I am changing the property value to false, so that the terms and conditions are not required for a new user. So I have just clicked on false. I have just written false manually, and I have selected the property terms of use required and press OK. So here my terms of use required and value false has been listed. If you want to modify any other property, then you can add over here, and if you want to edit this particular property or you want to remove, then also you can do from here. And suppose in particular a hook configuration you want to modify two properties, or you want to modify more than one property, then you can add any other property from here, and you can select all the properties are listed over here. So using a properties you can change this many values that are inbuilt for a Liferay. Right, so we have just searched for terms, and we are going to modify only one of them. Right, so that is done, and just click on finish. So my terms of use is already done, and I have to click on Liferay SDK and deploy. So this particular is also going to be deployed. Now hook or portlet or that things, you might be aware that they are hot deployable, means once they are deployed they will be executed at the same time. But whenever you want to remove it, you can just go to your Tomcat folder, and you can just delete this particular folder from there, and that will be undeployed. So for example, for testing you have done that terms of use is not required, and you have removed it. So whenever a new user does sign up, then he will not be asked to sign up, and at that time he will not be asked to accept the terms and conditions. So whenever you have done the checking and sorry, and you want again to be on your original state of Liferay, then you just go to your Tomcat folder of your Liferay, and just delete that particular hook configuration, and your terms and conditions will again come in its original state. And the same way of your terms of use, if you have modified it and you want to make it in original state, then once again you just do modification and once again deploy it, so it will again come in its original state. So these were the examples of terms and conditions. We have just deployed all this, and we have just created all this. Now once you have created, you can verify also for the terms and conditions. Once you have deployed, you can go for a login page, and you can check whether the things are changed or not. For terms and conditions, first make some changes in this file, deploy it and make a new user, and then do a sign in with that new user, and make sure that these things are updated or not, and then only deploy the portlet of hiding the terms and conditions. Because once you have deployed the portlet with change over here and you have not checked it, and you have deployed the another properties that terms and conditions required false, then you will not be able to verify whether these things are changed or not. So first just deploy this one and make a user inside Liferay. Once again, I would like to mention that this webinar is not going to cover basic parts like creating a user and all that. So you must have to know how to create a user, and how to do a sign up, and how to do a login, and how to run Eclipse, and how to run Liferay and all that. So just deploy it, create a new user, and you can verify for the new user. And the same way, then you can deploy these terms, and for that you had properties file, you had required false, and you can just deploy that, and you can see for a new user whether the things are working or not. So these were the examples for this particular webinar. Now we have left time for questions, so you can ask questions if you have. You have a chat window in your panel, and you can ask questions in that. All the attendees are muted because of disturbance and all that, so if you are speaking, I will not be able to listen you. But inside your right side panel you have option for question, so you can ask questions if you have. Still we have left some time for your questions, so you can ask questions if you have in Liferay hook. You have a question window in your right side panel, so you can type question in that. Yes, please. Yes, Carlos, can you please type the question? You mean to say how to use hook configuration for login, right? Any specific requirement for login? Means what you want to do in login. Means what you want to change for the login. Create a theme and don't view. Means you want to hide the login page. You want to hide the login page. Okay, I have got your question, and I will send a document for that to you personally. I will mail a document for that. Okay, yeah, I got your question. As of for this particular webinar, all the attendants may not be interested in that part, so I will send you ebook very soon personally in mail. Okay, most welcome. Thank you for asking. Okay, any other question? Any other question? Any other attendees? We have still left some time, so you can ask questions if you have. Okay, so I guess there are no more questions. So we have done with today's webinar. We have created three hook configurations. In first one, we have changed a particular word. For that, I'm going to, for all three, I'm going to send you ebooks and this recording also. And in the second one we have changed the terms and conditions page, and then we have changed the property for the hiding of terms and conditions. So I hope you enjoyed this webinar. On behalf of Attune family, I thank you all, and myself Chandni Thakkar, I personally thank you all for attending the webinar. I hope you enjoyed it, and for the questions I will send you reply very back soon in mail, and I will send you ebook for that also. Right, so thank you for joining the webinar, and stay tuned. We are going to have so many webinars for Liferay in coming time, mostly on alternate Wednesday. So stay tuned. You can subscribe so that you never miss any webinar. Mostly we are going to have so many webinars on Liferay in coming time. So stay tuned. Thank you. Once again, thank you so much for joining.